shovel in hand, she roams the universe, exploring every land, no map, no reverse. Oh, digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, digger 420, curious Canuck, answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Riding waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky.
Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone? Let me clicky and see you guys in chat. Well, hello, everyone. Good to see you. Hi, and thank you, John. You came through a little while ago. Remind everyone to like and subscribe or follow or whatever you do, wherever you do it. Hello, T3. How you doing? And the captain is in the house. Good to see you. Hello, Heidi. Yeah, I was going to say, it's kind of like a Kern raid. This is awesome. Fake raid. I love it. Hi, Shenny. How you doing? You guys are awesome. And then, yeah, it's interesting. I'm troubleshooting the PC right now. I've got a whole bunch of different things open, but I've also got the task manager open. And I accidentally noticed something I think it was actually just this morning. Oh, why is this not tickering? I don't know. That's huge, though. So far, I seem to be able to have everything open. I've got the Rumble chat popped out, so it's its own thing. I've got the task manager open, and then I've got the YouTube, the Rumble tab, and Discord open. And then over here, all I've got is StreamYard. But it seems to let me do more stuff as long as the task manager is open. And I'm not sure why, and I don't know if that was just me imagining things or if I've really stumbled onto something actually useful. But either way, we shall see. But because I've got the Rumble chat popped out, I could see that T3 gifted a membership over on Rumble, which is awesome. And Rumble said, "Hey, thanks for that. We'll give it to you." So T3 gifted a sub to herself. That's awesome. Thank you so much. Oh, it does tell me it was gifted a membership by you. It just, the one that comes up to tell me that it's you gifting a sub just says blank. So there you go. Hello, Sir Frank Otter. Did the captain pull a boomer moment? I do not know. Oh, that feels a little better. Yeah, it gifted it right back to yourself. Saying, Captain, possibly. Damn, Streamlabs didn't stop it. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened, but obviously something got boomered. Hi, Heidi. Hi, Sir Frank. T3, Captain, Jenny. Hi, Christine. Island, good to see you. I didn't know you'd be up at this time. Yeah, I guess you might be. Hello, Linda. Good to see you. How are you doing fire-wise? I know you're in the general vicinity, or at least I know that you're in that state, which is, you know, pretty good for me. I'm not sure exactly where in it you are. It's really good to see you, Eileen and Linda. Um, Today is talking with you guys. So whatever you want to talk about, whatever topic you want to touch on, it's all about you, and we'll shoot the shit. I will try my darndest to stay up to date with chat. Um, and so far, so good. Just saying, unless you guys have noticed, I think my camera is not being stuttery at all. So crossing fingers, it might just like me. If it really likes me for a while, then maybe I'll try and play a video. That might just make it go, pfft, but who knows? I am so not ready to become an American captain. I keep pointing out, Trump wants Greenland and he keeps threatening to take us on, but in between him and Greenland is us. Hi, Johnny. How you doing? And AP, good to see you. Hattie Stingy. But no, as I keep pointing out, between you guys and Greenland is us. So I'm thinking, screw you guys. Canada will usurp Greenland, and then we'll also take, because they obviously want to come over to our side, we'll take Washington State, Oregon, and California. We'll take them too if they want to secede and come over and be Canucks. And then what I'm really hoping is going to happen is people are going to realize that the government is still fucked over here, even though it's not Trudeau anymore. And I think people are going to start wising up, and hopefully, we've got enough people in the good movements, the good parties, in the lower levels, like the municipalities and cities and towns. I'm hoping that we've got a shot. So who knows? We shall see. But yeah, no, I don't think we need to become part of you guys. I think we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. At least I've got more faith. Thank you, Johnny. Camera looks good. Thank you. Evening all says AP. And Linda says you're Central California. Okay. Okay. Good. Stingy. Ba weep. Grogged. Weep Nini Bong. Right back at you, bud. I'm not sure what that means. But okay. Frank Otter is saying Windows works in odd ways, but most likely it's just an odd thing. Funny factoid, task manager code has not changed in 30 years. Interesting. Maybe that's never mind. I was going to say maybe that's why I understand it and I can work in it. Captain says, okay, deal. No takebacks. All right. You can have them, but we take Greenland as well, though. That's the key. Okay. We'll take those three. But we get Greenland too. So that's the deal. I'd love to take on Alaska too as Canada, but I don't think you guys would ever give it up. And honestly, I don't think anyone who lives in Alaska would want to be Canadian. I think the Alaskans are pretty proud to be US. So I wouldn't want to force them. Oh, I'm learning not to play with this mute button, play with that mute button. So we'll see. And you're all saying the same thing. Take them all. We will. That's quite all right. The politics may be ridiculous in those three states, but the land there is beautiful. Well, I don't know about California. Never been there, but I've been through Washington State. I've got family in Washington State. Also, been through Oregon. We used to do family vacations there because we were so close to the border. So they're beautiful in the land that they are. So we'll totally take them on, because eventually we're going to shuffle all the libtards over into Ottawa and Quebec. and they can secede like Quebec has always wanted to do. They can secede and they can take their fair share of the Canadian debt or deficit with them. And I think we'll be a much happier place as Canucks. So that's my little fairy tale world. If if the world would happen the way I wanted it, that'll go well. AP says in between Alaska and the US is Canada. Didn't stop US buying Alaska. Fair enough, but things were different then. I don't know. I'm talking out my ass. My ass. You make a good point. You make a good point. Hello, Cynthia. You're lurking with spotty cell service. Fair enough. Good to see you. Captain Kern. We'll even toss in the top 10 states on the East Coast. Well, if we start doing that, Captain, I had an idea long before I heard about Diagolon, which is one of the funniest stories I've ever heard. But before I'd heard about Diagolon, I used to say, instead of splitting the states in Canada this way, is we got to do it this way, and just shuffle all the lib idiots over that side and us over here on the west where it's prettier, where it's generally nicer, minus the libtards. I remember back in the day when like Portland and Seattle were places we went to go and visit because it was such cool cities, they were wonderful places to go see. Same with Vancouver. When I was growing up, Vancouver was safe enough that we could get on the bus. We lived like 45-minute to an hour drive away from Vancouver. But we could get on there at like 10, 12, 13 years old and bus all the way down to Vancouver and watch a roller hockey game, skate with the team, watch the game, and then ride the bus all the way back in the dark and be safe. And it was fine. Unfortunately, right now, it has gotten so liberal that it's kind of lost its shine. Same with Portland, same with Seattle. So I think there's hope for those areas. You guys just got to shuffle the libtards. Actually, yeah, it's going to be a bit of a long shuffle, but if you could shuffle them right on up to Ottawa and Quebec as well, we might as well just chuck them all in that one section. And then we can let them take off. We can let Quebec and like Ottawa, Ontario. I keep saying Ottawa. Ottawa is a place, not the province. But Ontario, they could secede. They can take their share of the deficit. We could put all of the liberal idiots living in Washington, Oregon, and California over there too, and they can become their like new Cuba. And they can just do their thing over in New Cuba. And the rest of us will be, I think, much happier. Stingy says Google it. And if you're telling me that I need to Google it, I'm afraid I might I might regret it. Oh, look at that. I can't from StreamYard. Neener. So yeah, sorry. Nope, not going to do it. Linda's saying, did you hear Biden ended the press conference with Newsom by mentioning the houses that burned to the ground? But the good news is he had a great grandchild born. Oh, I'm sure they're thrilled for him. No kidding, eh? Wow. No tact whatsoever. They're just, yeah. And the crazy thing is, the only reason we're seeing so much about these fires this year is because it's all the rich folks' homes. They're the ones who can afford to live up in the mountains, right? So it's the rich folks that are losing their homes and their stuff, and at least they've probably got insurance. But even if they're stupid enough not to, they've got secondary or third, even fourth homes. So there's no concern for them. But the the people in North Carolina are still living in tents through winter. They're living in tents. And empty little makeshift temporary homes are sitting empty in rows, but haven't been handed out to anyone. So, yeah, things are just a little bit backwards. And if you think that's bad, you haven't been looking at Canada for a while, because we got you beat. They're just completely unaware of us masses and just how pissed off they're making us. AP says you can't have Washington or Oregon, but California is all yours, free charge. Nope, it's all or nothing. All or nothing. I've never been to California. I really could care less if we got California. I'm into the offer because I want the Washington and Oregon. They're beautiful states. And like I said, I got family living, in Washington state. So make them Canadian like me. But we need to get those two, and then we'll take California. That's the way this works. Frank's saying, I say we want SK, you take Greenland, California, Oregon, Washington, DC, New York, and New Jersey. Well, now we're just getting messy. The borderline is going to start getting really silly. Hi, Lady Autumn Sky. How you doing, hun? Stingy, same thing. You can have California. It might have a little bit of fire damage, but it'll buff out. Oh, I live in BC. I live in dead center for fire damage. Happens all the time here, every year. Cali has an amazing landscape, says AP. I have heard. So, yeah, I'm more than willing to take it. And besides which, Trump's in. So he can make us turn the tap on, and Cali's going to be a new oasis. So, yeah, I'll totally take California, but we have to get Washington and Oregon too. That's my line in the sand. Whoever said the BC Islands were put into play? No way. No way at all. I love those islands. I partied hard in those small, tiny islands. There's some really nice places in those little islands. I'm not talking Tofino. I'm talking much smaller. But those are off the table. They were never on the table, bud. Heidi's saying Alaskans love their Canuck siblings, but don't want to be a part of the parliamentary system in Canada. Yeah. In the know, I lived there 36 years. Okay. Yes, I know. I know it was bought from the USSR. Allegedly, I have not heard or seen a clip, but I have been told that somewhere out there's video of Putin joking that we're not going to be the 51st state. Russia will plant their flag in Canada and take them back, make us Russia again before they let Trump take us over. So there's that. We could end up, I said, wouldn't it be wild in this clown world if somehow, some way, Canada ended up being the front line of World War III, where we've got Russia trying to take it back. China, they've got their grasps in the port, Vancouver, BC. They've had their grasps or their claws in there for a good long while. So they and Russia will be fighting to take the foothold here in BC. Meanwhile, you guys will be marching across us from the east. And well, I guess you don't have to come from the east. You can just come up from underneath. Either which way, we're going to be ground zero. And I thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But the way things are shaping up, 2025 wouldn't surprise me if we ended up being the front line for World War III. Just, Trump says he's not going to protect us anymore. So AP says we'll take Canada as Texas. No, you got that wrong, my dear. BC is not Canada's Texas. Alberta, the next one over, is Canada's Texas. BC has, natural gas and stuff. But if you're looking for the oil and the natural gas and the rolling fields for the cattle to roam for days. You want Alberta. That's our Texas. BC is right now comparable to your California. It's only because it's been taken over by the NDP, the new Democratic Party, which was, a red flag, I would have thought, but apparently not. So right now, we're kind of hooped. We're very communist, or at least those on the coast are, and their votes seem to, count for more than the rest of us in the other 2/3 of the province. So, oh, that's why. Okay, see, Stingy's like, it's nothing bad. It's a universal greeting from Transformers. Okay, it looked vaguely familiar, but my mind, it's not gonna. And there's Sir Frank Otter, ack. Now that I also remember, or that also puts me in mind of the Mars attacks as well. They were acking too. And Stingy says they don't. A lot of insurance companies dropped a lot of people's fire insurance a few months ago. That's what I heard. It's very, very different the way we deal with our, fire areas and the way you guys deal with yours. It's sorry. First off, at least in BC, I think across the country, but for sure in BC, everything of ours is buried underground. So all the internet and everything is buried deep underground. So even when we burn the province every summer, because we don't do proper fire prevention year round, even though it burns every summer, no one loses connection to the internet. Landlines are safe. There's no disconnect from electricity. But yeah, the way that California does it, it's very strange. It's very, very strange. I couldn't imagine being in the middle of an evacuation zone, trying to get the fuck out and not being able to phone someone or use the internet to find out which way it's heading and which way I would be safest to go, right? I can't imagine that. What the hell are you supposed to do? And apparently you're just supposed to sit there, twiddle thumbs, and hope and pray that it doesn't blow your way, which is unbelievable. Maybe I'm just a weird Canuck, but I cannot fathom being completely disconnected from the world at the same time as I'm trying to figure out which of the, 5 fires is the one I should be most concerned about in this moment, right? Doesn't make any sense. Oh. Shenny's saying the fires are on the coast. They have second residentials elsewhere for sure. Oh, okay. I thought Pacific Palisades went way up into the mountains. Oh, okay. Okay. Some in Florida have received $0 and have no electricity. Exactly. And if you think Florida is bad, North Carolina is, that much worse. They're freezing and they're getting snow and cold more than normal, and they're still stuck living in tents or in what's left of their places because FEMA's not distributing all the empty little portable houses that they've got. It's ridiculous. Oh, so okay. I didn't. You're Canadian, Sir Frank Otter. I didn't even twig that it's Saskatchewan because I thought you were an American. No one knows that. My apologies. Nice to meet you. Linda says, leave the eastern part of the Central Valley here, but send the north, south, and coast anywhere you want. There you go. Oh, there's Bobby. Venus. Venus. Oh, and that was at 4:19. Nice. I didn't catch 4:20, but I did catch 2 just before I went live. So I'm hoping that's good enough. AP saying the US will never let that happen. Taking the 3 that I want or just splitting it this way instead of that way. I guess, yeah, either way, you guys wouldn't allow it. You can't even allow us to absorb Greenland, to be fair. At least you can't with Trump in power because his ego is way too massive. Now that he's joked about it, if suddenly people started talking about Denmark actually selling off Greenland, he wouldn't be able to allow anyone other than you guys to buy it. It would hurt too much, hurt the ego too much. Bobby says we're going to come at you on an angle. Yeah, I was actually in someone's chat somewhere this morning. Someone said you guys are gonna have us surrounded, which is fairly accurate. If you guys were to take Greenland, you'd have us on 3 fronts because you've got Alaska over on the point here, and then you'd have Greenland here and you guys here, and we're just kind of sitting happy in the middle there. So in theory, if it was to go that way, yeah, you guys would have us covered a lot quicker and a lot better than Russia or China. But like I said, you may have to fight for us West Coasters. Russia and definitely China would put a fight up for BC. It's the ports, and it's got all the everything. We've got lumber, we've got minerals, we've got natural gas. Plus, if they can take control of BC, that gives them the foothold they need to then conquer Alberta. And Alberta is where all the real oil and minerals and natural gas and everything is. That's where the real money is Alberta. So everyone wants Canada. We're popular, I know. Or else I was thinking this earlier too, but maybe it's just that y'all think we're easy. We've been such pushovers for Trudeau for what? It was 14 years, I think. My math sucks, but he got in 2016. So however long that is, way, way, way long past due that he's gone. But yeah, you guys all think we're easy. But now that he's gone, like I said, as soon as Polyev gets in and he starts doing his thing and people start realizing that he's bought and paid for like Trump or like Trudeau, he just works for a different faction. Once they realize that, that's when I'm hoping, the truckers and the farmers and all of us rural folks can actually come together and make a change. I have noticed, at least in my province, the PPC, which is the People's Party of Canada. It was formed before COVID flu happened. Before all of that stuff happened, the leader, Maxime Bernier, decided that he was sick and tired of trying to fight from within the Conservative Party of Canada. He was disappointed. They just kept okaying anything the UN wanted to pass, they would pass. And it was just, he'd been fighting against it from within for years. Finally, he said, fuck this shit, I'm out. He created the People's Party of Canada, and he's the one that was getting arrested for having outdoor meetups during the lockdowns. He was the only one, not only anti-mandate, but he was also anti-vax. I don't know if he took it or not. I don't think he ever said, but it didn't matter. Or no, sorry. I don't know if he got arrested or not for that. But he did get arrested for the lockdown breakings, and I think he got arrested because of the pastor in Alberta that got arrested for staying open. He stood up for the little restaurants in Alberta that refused to shut down. So he's been working for us Canucks for a long, long time. And the nice thing about that is we don't have a single house in Parliament or single chair in Parliament, but we're starting to see the PPC party is the main party in a lot of the smaller towns and the municipalities in the rural areas. And I don't know how well it's happening across the rest. I know they're starting to spread in each of the provinces, but I know right up until the Conservative Party of BC decided to reform, they were doing great numbers in BC here. So, that'll be fun. I read that one. Okay. Oh, that sucks to hear it, AP. I'm still hoping for that diet for you. Slow and steady. Saskatchewan has giant whitetail. Yes, they do. So do we. But they're much flatter, rolling hills. We're mountains. We've got the Rockies running right through us. We've got anything on the coast is rainforest with the borealis forests, the big, huge, ancient trees. So there's an awful lot of good hunting in BC. It's just a lot harder to get to. Oh, they found out the LA mayor cut 18 mil from fire departments a few months ago. That's fun. That'll go over well. It's all fun and games until the richy rich start getting affected. Hello again, John. Good to see you. AP says no, letting Putin plant a flag in Russia. No, to be fair, yeah, BC and Alaska, we all used to be a part of the land bridge that connected Russia to us. So it's kind of interesting. Where I live is very similar to parts of Russia. So I'm not totally aware of what it's like in oh shoot, up where the Black Forest is, and they've got that really awful prison place. It's super uber cold there, but I don't think it gets that cold for us here, although Alaska probably. But it's very, very interesting how much like Russia BC is. They refuse to refill the reservoirs, so there's no water in the hydrants. That happened to us in BC last summer. The hydrants were dry, and the big vats that were built purpose for the residents to use on their own homes were dry. So that was fun. Yeah. Heidi's saying like Switzerland and Europe. Just kind of the wedged in the middle. I'm an American, however, geography was a strong suit. We want Moose Jaw, Regina, Climax, Big Beaver, and Prince Albert. No way. No way. You forgot Sicamous. Sicamous was my favorite as a child because I always wondered just how sick was the damned moose that they had to name an entire city after it. Like, Sicamous. Okay. I need to hear the story behind the naming of that town. But you can't have any of those. They're fun. And it's Regina with an E, not an A. Haven't heard of Climax, but I wouldn't be surprised. AP says, we'll have you west, east, south, and from the north. Yeah. Thank you, John. Help support the channel by liking, subscribing, and sharing. Yes, please do. Please do. AP says, all seriousness, I like Canada. Just need them to get their heads on straight. It's happening slowly but surely. John saying, I think BC, Alberta, and Yukon would be the best fit to come over to America. Yeah, like I said, if we just purge the communists out of the lower mainland, the rest of BC is right on board. And you can add Saskatchewan. That's where all the agriculture is. That's where the bulk of our growing happens. And they're wonderful people. They're just lovely folk. So we can bring them along too, please. Linda, oh, the sarcasm. Stingy, isn't that crazy? It's a good thing she's part of DEI and wanted to hire more DEI instead of competent firemen. Who would have thought you'd need water? Good employees, maybe new equipment? That's exactly the same can be said for BC. It's absolutely ridiculous. AP, I'd like it if you did that, if you post updates on stuff. I know it takes a whole extra amount of time on top of everything else in a day. But yeah, just let us know you're doing okay. That'd be lovely. Siberia, thank you. Thank you, John. He's saying, I live in American Siberia. And where is that? What would you consider American Siberia? Like Colorado? Or no, wait a minute. No, that would have to be Alaska, right? Am I just being thick? BC has some huge bear as well. Yes, and I grew up right on the edge of wilderness. So it was very, very common to have, huge black bear and grizzly bears coming out, especially as I became a teenager, because they started developing further into the forest. So surprise, surprise, more bears came out into the public. But it was such a common thing that there were always traps brought out to certain areas around the edge of town that time of the year, ready to catch, set up and catch as soon as one is spotted. One of my favorite places to hike by myself was Minnetonka. It's a lovely provincial park. It just starts at the edge of town where I grew up, and it's beautiful. But I knew from as a little kid, you don't go in there without keys or something that's attached to a belt loop to make sure it's making noise, so that the wildlife who live in there know that you're coming. Because 9 times out of 10, if they hear you coming, they'll get out of your way. They don't want to mess with you any more than you want to mess with them. But if you're just walking around quiet, they have no idea you're there. You surprise each other, and things can go bad really quick. There's also cougars. I remember one time we were hotboxing the car, and my girlfriend had to get out and go pee. So she got out and she went pee. And suddenly she's at the window going, let me back in, let me back in, let me back in. So we let her in, and she slams the door. And, well, what's going on? She's like, I went pee and there was a cougar mom over here, but the cougar babies were behind me here, and the car was on the other side of the babies. She's like, I had no freaking clue. I finished peeing. I heard mom growl, saw mom, turned to run, saw the babies, and she got into our car and slammed that door. So mom was not happy there was another female of some kind tagging the land in between her and her babies. Yes, we do have ketchup chips. We also have all dressed chips. They are good too. Black bear are easy to scare off, but them brownies, they look at you like your food. Yeah, honestly, black bear, brown bear, when you're that close, it's I have a hard time telling. They're all big. I know there was a couple of yeah, I might be mixing them up. There was a couple of them. I know it wasn't grizzlies, but there was a couple of them either black or brown. I was hiking with my ex-husband. It's the first time I was ever able to get him out into the bush, and it was just a day hike. But we were coming back down, trying to head back to the parking lot, and he turns the corner, stops dead, and starts reversing into me. And I said, "What the fuck?" And he just points. So I kind of walk around the corner, and like seriously, just around the corner, there's 2 huge bears mating smack dab in the middle of the trail. So probably because they were in the middle of getting it on is why they didn't notice we were there and didn't hear, the sound makers. But we had to backtrack quite a ways, and we ended up having to hike down into the like it's a big cleft. We had to hike all the way down to the bottom of that and all the way back up the side because the bridge that's normally there had been washed out by storms. So we were taking the only other trail out, but the bears had kind of blocked that. Made the whole hike a lot longer and a lot less entertaining, I tell you. Yeah, the brownies, they look at you like your food. And cougars will get you. Yes. Yes, they will. Frank Otter is saying Sicamous is a place cut through, apparently in the First Nations word. Place cut through in the First Nations. Okay. It's the only inland port that doesn't freeze in the winter. That is true. That is very true. I did not know it meant place cut through. That's interesting, and it makes a lot more sense. But my childish curiosity, I'll never. Why on earth did they name a town after this moose? How sick was this moose? Heidi is saying 2.4 miles across the Bering Strait between, Alaska, see brain fart, and Russia from Little to Big Diomede Islands. Okay. I will take your word for it. Gonna have to do more research on that one. Yeah, it's a tiny little town, but if you're ever going from any part of BC to any other part of BC, you're probably gonna have to drive through there. So it always tickled my fancy when we had to go through. Okay, Linda, I'll just bring that up quick because I was thinking the same thing. I get that AP. And Linda's saying, my doctor tells me if I don't walk more, I'll end up in the wheelchair at home. Sounds like I have a few updates for the prayer. I'll pray for strength. I will as well. I'll pray for all of us. I am thinking, at least with Shenny and I, when we're going whole hog for like 4 hours or more, I can stand up now and I can do the walking as long as I don't turn the game on. So I don't have the metronome sound. I can walk a lot better while talking to people. It's just when I'm talking to someone on the headphone and I'm trying to follow the game, and I'm trying to hear the metronome. Especially if the person makes me laugh, suddenly I'm tripping and falling all over myself, and that's not fun. So I won't turn the game bit on, but at least during Shenny and I's long ones, if I need to, I'll start walking, and you guys can always join me. Like I was telling Captain too, we can always take like a walking break. Shenny has said that many times. Halfway through the stream, we can just all get up and walk for a little bit. None of us will get very far. Most of us won't be particularly fast, but at least we're all moving, right? Brown bear and grizzly bear are the same bear, just two different names for the same animal. Is it one of those things? Maybe that's why I always mistake them and try and blend them in. Maybe I knew that once upon a time, and that's why I use them interchange. I just thought it was because one of the many holes in my memory. I couldn't remember the difference. Band workouts do wonders for the body. They do. I'm a klutz, so I can't do a whole lot. Well, I don't do a whole lot with the bands. Don't ask. But I've got on the game, it's a Wii. It's an original Wii, like the very first one they ever put out ever. It's amazing, and it still works. That being said, I've got the Wii Fit game on the disc, and it has balance games, it has aerobics, it has strength, and it has yoga. And it was amazing just how fit I was able to keep. I say was because I fluctuate every 3 to 5 years, roughly, depending on how, my health runs. I'm on the heaviest end of my weight roller coaster. And when I was doing it every single day, without weights or resistance, just strictly using my own body and muscles, my core was pretty strong, pretty fit. I was very impressed at just how healthy and how fit I could get just using myself. So, okay, I can do that. um, Dear Lord, can you please watch over all of us here watching in chats that have any sort of health issues that are making life difficult? I pray that you can alleviate anything you can, and what is left, I pray that you will give us the strength and courage to shoulder strongly. And I pray in Jesus' name, amen. That kind of felt weird doing it reading, but I think he'll probably forgive me. Thanks for that. AP says black bear have a different shoulder build. Hard to tell at a glance if not in direct sunlight. Well, yeah, for me, it was easiest to see if I could see them in the sunlight, because the literal colors of the fur is much different over the shoulders. They're the same species, Ursus arctos, but they have some differences in appearance, diet, and habitat. Yes, grizzlies. I think grizzlies can do even like more cold, much colder than brown bears. Although brown bears, they put up with a fair chunk right here. Yeah, Heidi's saying the grizzlies in Alaska are much bigger than brown bear. Yeah, grizzlies are definitely much larger than whatever you want to call them, brown bear or black bear. Grizzlies are a whole new beast. Pun fully intended. They're a whole different kind of animal. Yeah. Frank Otter is saying they're different, especially in their temperament and size. Much different. And yeah, their temperament, like I said, as long as I'm making noise, when I was hiking in the bush, I could hike alone and not feel bad as long as I knew I was making enough noise. Because for the most part, they don't want to have anything to do with me. The only time my noisemakers would be of zero use to me is if I got between mom and her babies, no matter what species of grizzly or cougar or whatever, that would put me in danger no matter how much noise I made. I highly doubt grizzlies would give a rat's ass that I was making noise with my dangly keys and stuff. I think if they want to see me and take me out, they'll do that. So yeah, they are definitely different. We don't see a whole lot of grizzlies. Well, we probably see them more where I live now, but I sure shit never worried about grizzlies when I was hiking in the forests and stuff on the lower mainland, or in the lower mainland. Grizzlies were not really a thing there. Thank goodness. Black bear totally different than brown bear, though, too, and smaller than a brown bear. Well, that's like I said, I can't remember if there's a difference, and I can't remember the difference, or if black and brown bear are basically the same thing. Like I said, I never worried about a grizzly in Minnetonka, but I did worry about black and brown bears. So there must be a difference. Yeah, I did. I worried about both when I was hiking alone, or I was aware of both. So there must be a difference between the two. And Shenny's saying polar bears were initially brown bear that evolved to polar bears. Well, and then there's that poor albino grizzly that Shenny told us about. That poor thing got stuck in between Wokies and scientists. And the Wokies kept shipping it to Alaska and the Arctic and whatnot because they're thinking it's a polar bear. And the scientists over there kept saying, no, this isn't a polar bear. It's completely different, and shipping it back. And the poor thing, I think it got shipped there 3 times. It ended up getting shipped back 3 times, but on the last time they found it because it had already turned around and started walking its way back home because it had figured out the game, right? So instead of waiting for them to fly him back home, he just turned around and started walking, and he was sighted by people on the highway walking home. Polar bears were never brown, always tawny. Yeah, but brown bears they can be tawny as well, especially in compared to black bears. It's a huge difference. Hi, Dom. Black bears and brown bears are different kinds of bears. That's what I thought. You guys had me convinced that I was wrong, though. So, Where's Otter? Yes. And then still the same bear, grizzly more inland, browns more coastal. Kodiak browns considered a subspecies, even though it's not. Yeah. Kodiak's definitely, yeah, that is all over the lower mainland. And especially if you go to those islands that someone was trying to poach but won't get. They were never on the table. Okay, Captain? Never on the table. But those islands, yeah, there's some really great. There is actually saltwater swimming deer. I kid you not. I'd seen them before, but the main time, I've still got pictures. Back in the day when you would buy disposable cameras, you had to click, turn, click, turn, click, turn. So I've got a bunch of those in succession, watching deer swimming in the ocean and swimming towards us and finally making it up. We were on Gabriola Island that time, and we were hanging out in Malaspina Galleries. And I photographed this deer. I'm sure it must have been coming from Nanaimo, which is mainland. Well, no, I think they're island. They're connected to Victoria. So yeah. But either which way, it had come from there, and that's a huge expanse of the Pacific Ocean. And it was swimming across, got itself up on the ground, and no problem, just kept going. You know, like it made the swim on the regular. It was wild. Oh, now we're playing this game. Okay. Koala bears are not really bears, says Dom. Panda bears are not really bears either. What else aren't bears? Heidi says, used to take my kids hiking in the Alaskan mountains and came across grizzly, brown, and black bear. Fair enough. Yeah. Like I said, I never, on the coast as a kid, I never worried about grizzlies. That wasn't a concern. And Shenny's saying, but seriously, the polar evolved from the brown bear. And Frank Otter is saying Colorado's last grizzly killed someone in 1979, the year I was born, because they went up to it when it was sleeping. Oh my God, they deserve to die. Talk about a Darwin Award winner, right? Like, oh man. They went up to it when it was sleeping. Government eradication efforts in the 1900s kind of killed them all out. Yeah, they just came this way. No worries. They're not doing bad over here. AP says Kodiak are only found on Kodiak Island. They rival polar bear for size and their sunny disposition. Oh, good. Okay. Bobby's saying bears are fish. Fair enough. And Linda's saying teddy bears are bears. Very true. Very, very true. Hello, Jody. How you doing? She is saying, oh, almost clicked on the wrong one. Red panda bears are not bears. Well, thank you. There you go. Is that the sun one? That's the sun one is one that I was thinking of that looks rather human at times. Let's see. A platypus is not a bear. It is also not a duck or a beaver. Very good. Very fair. That is a true statement. Talk about stupid tourists going up to bears. I know, right? I know it's the same as the idiots that walk up to the buffalo, or the ginormous moose trying to have its morning bath, and idiot just walks up to go, "Hey, how's it going?" Yeah, Darwin gets a lot of people in my province. This is the wildlife here. they don't brook fools lightly, and they will tell you when you're being an idiot. So. Bobby says nobody even knows what a fish is. Well, to be fair, doesn't California think bees are fish? So I don't know nothing is a fish, but everything is also a fish. Fish are friends, not food. That works for me. I can't eat them. Anything that lives in water, I can't eat. Platypus is a fish. And AP says, no, the sun bear is a bear. Okay. And then we'll have this debate. Jody's saying we had a black bear that kept attacking our trash. Someone shot it. It was not us, but we don't miss him. He spread trash for about 3 acres, and my brother had to pick it all up twice. Oof, yeah, not fun. People in BC, when someone is a transplant from elsewhere in the country or world, because they don't understand that the garbage doesn't go out until the morning the garbage truck is coming through. Also, the garbage being locked in the garage with the garage door closed is not enough to keep a bear out of said garage if they're hungry enough and if your garbage in there smells good enough. You can't do it. Bees are fish. And Lady Autumn Sky is saying the bee fish. Yep, she's in California too. Well, you're out of the way of the fires, right? Or are you? I honestly can't remember where out there you were. Dom says fish tastes like chicken. I don't know, but I do love chicken. And AP saying like the idiot in Yellowstone feeding a grizzly bread. And it decided it wanted to eat the human. Well, I guess the breast was just the bread was the appetizer, right? Happens all the time in Yellowstone. Idiots in nature make a hell of a story sometimes. Yeah, that is the only fun part about it. Although I know here in BC, Stanley Park is I think we're told that it's a world famous park. But at one point in the mid 2010s, I guess, the drugs were getting so bad that the coyotes were getting addicted to the fentanyl. But this was back before they set it up with the downers. It was mixed into the meth, which was a big thing on the coast there. The speed, the uppers, but they were mixing the fentanyl in with that. And it was a wild time. It was a wild time out there. Sorry, I almost lost what I was talking about. The coyotes were eating the wrappers and shit and getting hooked on it, and they were attacking tourists. So families and whatnot just walking out in the beautiful sunshiny day, walking along the seawall, and suddenly, the kid goes running off to the side of the, let's play in this big expanse of green grass. But the coyotes come running out and start attacking. Yeah, that was really great for tourism. That was a good time. I don't know if it's still an issue now, but it sure was at one point. Flying fisher bees. Okay. Flying fisher bees. Yeah, we have to take the trash to the dump. So far out there, it's no trash service. Yeah, the bear broke into the trash hut. Well, exactly. Like if they're that hungry, they're going to put a whole lot of effort into going after the stuff they can smell, the stuff they know is there. Um, so yeah, I would, I'm not, I don't want to be in between a hungry bear and anyone's trash. It was amazing to me how many people thought the flimsy garage door would be enough to keep people or keep bears out, you know? Um, Seems to me if I run into it too hard, when I'm trying to catch a baseball, and I leave an entire body print in the garage door, my guess is that probably won't stop a bear that's hungry. you know Turns out I was right. But a few people had to prove it first. Hiya, Wild, how you doing? Good to see you over there. Uncivil Law covered the bees or fish in California. I think that's who I watched to learn about it. Yeah. Hello, Wild, how you doing? um Bears will wrap off walls of cabins if they're hungry enough. Exactly. Exactly. You got to be aware of your surroundings. Um, Fish is such a vague term that you can't scientifically apply it to really anything at all. Is it? I don't know. Fish seems pretty specific to me. Fish is anything that lives in water. I don't know. I'm just a silly Canuck, though, so I might be wrong. I just thought fish was anything that lived in water. Uh, Autumn Sky says, I'm in Middle Tennessee. Oh, okay. That's why I was thrown for a loop. I'm like, California, what? Okay. That's better. I thought you were closer over there. Um, Not that my geography, United States geography is any good at all. I know nothing. Otter or AP's agreeing with Otter about the idiots tend to be the cause of the termination of the animal just because of the idiotic stuff that they did and not because of anything the animal actually did. Um, what is the topic? The topic is whatever you want it to be. Um, so right now we're debating what a fish is and isn't. We're talking about the difference between the various bears. Um, I love bison. The bison, there's a park. Well, I don't know if it's still there. There was when I was a kid. There was a provincial refuge in Alberta that we'd go and visit whenever we visited family in Edmonton and Calgary. We'd stop and visit the bison because they were amazing animals. But yeah, you didn't go anywhere near it because you're smart and you know better. The people nowadays, they've grown up staring at stuff on screens. They forget that when they're actually out in the real world, there's no screen protecting them. I think that's why we have so many crazy Karens and road rages and flip outs. Every now and again, someone gets so pissed off they forget that they're not hiding behind their keyboard and they flip out the way they would online. They flip out in reality, in front of real people. And thankfully, then we get to laugh at them and shame them. So at least there's that. uh, John's asking Wild, is it true you're a honey badger? And Wild says, I'm in Michigan, so technically I'm a Wolverine. There you go. Oh, what is it? There we go. Yeah, you were. I was meaning the bees and fish, our fish in California. Don't worry. I'm always confused. It's not very hard to do. Jody, fish are aquatic vertebrate animals that have gills but lack limbs with digits like fingers or toes. Okay, that works for me. And mammals live in water. Yeah, dolphin and whales and yeah, we used to have a beautiful, huge pod of killer whales. Um, they were famous. There were so many of them. You'd see them when you're taking the ferry across to the islands, or you can take the ferry across into the States. Um, and it's just, yeah, the killer whales were amazing. They were beautiful. They were magnificent animals that you could see on any given day of the week. Unfortunately, due to all sorts of stuff happening in the globe, they're dying out now. Their main food source is has moved elsewhere or something. Either which way, there's less than, last count I heard was 79 killer whales in that pod that still exist. But they were amazing to watch when we were little kids. It was awesome to um, be on the ferry and seeing them like right there, and there's so many of them. It was pretty freaking awesome. You might do better over there, AP. Isn't it warmer and drier over there than you guys? You guys get pretty damp, I think. But then again, I might be wrong. So they're all fish, says Bobby. Well, except like Heidi was saying, except the mammals. Um, they're not fish. um, and Wild is twerking Santa for me. Thank you. I noticed they're still there. Um, I don't know if they saw it was so popular they decided to keep it year round, or if someone somewhere just forgot to remove it from the auctions. But I was so happy I had to use them. Um, had to use them in Johnny's chat as soon as I realized that it was still there. Let's see if I can't open that pop up enough. Oh well, you can keep using them for me. Uh oh, fun. Dom said he had possum in the house 3 nights ago. That night he was a possum wrangler. Is that easier or harder than wrangling cats? Um Lady Autumn Sky, sorry, Tennessee is full. Better check out Texas or Florida. That's awesome. Jenny's saying, "Wait, have you met me?" And I'm not sure what it was for, but yes, I've met you, and so I get that it was probably funny. um, Jody says, "I saw a Utah video that showed a woman get pantsed by a bison. She was trying to pet it. My God, what an idiot!" Yeah, those sort of people kind of they they deserve what happens. You've got to have some amount of critical thinking and self-awareness, and the ability to use logic to exist in this world. And I think too many people have been raised on screens, and we've got way too many people who would otherwise have been thinned out by Darwin. Um, they're still surviving. They're still here. They're still around, and they're taking up space and resources and all that fun stuff. If we just, well, I hate to say it because I'm using it right now to talk to all y'all. If we could just get rid of screens for like 2 months, say like June and July, we just take away all screens across the world and let Darwin sort out a whole bunch of folks. And then we can turn them back on, at the end of summer, turn them back on. And I think the human population would probably be a lot closer to what the earth is able to manage. It's just that we keep healing the idiots. um, Jody, sorry, Bobby's laughing. That's not specific enough, Jody. I think he's talking about your fish definition. And because Dom is in Texas, that makes him an armadillo. Is that like your state animal? Is that how that works? I'm a beaver, but I don't know. I don't know what BC's animal is. Do we even have one? Is that a thing? I know not. These and more questions will be answered on the next episode of Soap. Da-da-da. Thinking. Oh, hey, that's pretty cool. BC's provincial animal is the spirit bear, also known as the Kermode bear. It's the provincial animal of British Columbia. Yeah, the greatest concentration can be found on central coast and north coast of BC. Yep, it's not albino, but rather it's a black bear that has white fur due to a rare genetic trait. So let's see if I can. Oop. There we go. And, oh, I got to look through a bong. So I click on the right one and I don't just leave the studio. Nope, that's not the right one, but I'm still in the studio. There we go. Be quiet, folks. I'm cute. You guys, you can let me get away with a whole lot for that, okay? Here we go. That is a spirit bear. So, ta-da! They're kind of cool looking. Yeah, I didn't realize they were specifically our provincial animal. That's kind of interesting to know. I guess, yeah, I didn't realize just how rare they were. Largest temperate rainforest has just been saved. Yeah, that's me. Largest temperate rainforest. That's where I grew up. I'm on the other side of the Rockies now, though. So it's much drier over here. I'm much more comfortable. Yeah, Frank Otter says, I live in the middle of nowhere. You respect the animals around you because they can all kill you. That's exactly it. Dom says, I guess technically I'm an asshole. An armadillo. Close enough. Jody says, recall that vertebrates are animals with internal backbones. Most fish are streamlined in their general body form. The word fish is the same whether it's singular or plural. Oh, Wild, you're here. What do you get when you take an eye out of the fish? There you go. Ching. It's my friend, the queen of dad jokes. It suggests that all vertebrates are fish. Whereas the word bee is singular, says Jody, always, and the plural form is always bees. Oh, okay. So that's one of the differences. I don't know if you misspelled it on purpose, but I like that. It's almost my dyslexia is looking at like vegetable braits. So I'm seeing a whole bunch of fish floating around in the ocean that are kind of touched in the head. Don't have all their marbles. The overfishing by fisheries of killer whales diet also didn't help. Yeah. Like I said, I remember something had to do with it removing a huge portion of their food source. I do remember that. See, Bobby's trying to simplify things. The first vertebrate was a fish, so then everything is a fish, period. I feel like there should be, and that is all. All vertebrates are fish anyways. Again, you're trying really hard, but I don't think you're not gonna get me on that one. Shani says, saying things in person, they would normally only say behind a keyboard. Yeah, nope, not me. Have you met me? I try to be kinder online. Fair enough, Shani. John was saying the possum that he had, this one was pretty calm, so it was easy to snatch him up and toss him out the door. That's good. And he's got to go move a big truck. So you be well, Don. We'll see you when you get back. And Jody, oh, what did you say? I missed it. There we go. Nope, that's not it. I don't know, Jody. You and Bobby are having a conversation that I've now lost touch of. I don't know who it was that had it coming, but I'll believe you that she had it coming. um, well, what's that? Common sense? What's that? What's that? Yeah, critical thinking. Yeah, they didn't teach that in school when I was going to school. That was something I had to learn on my own because we were latchkey kids. So the parents were never home. My brother and I were raised by ourselves in the TV, and you had to learn really fast how to think things through before you do them, or else you have issues like accidentally putting um, chicken sticks wrapped in saran wrap into the microwave and accidentally putting them on for 10 minutes as opposed to 1 minute. Um, when you do silly stuff like that accidentally and you're latchkey kids, you then have to run all the way down to the end of the street and get your little brother's best friend's mom to run back with you and fix it all. Because I seriously thought I was about to like burn down the house. It was awful. So yeah, make sure you put your chicken fingers in, not wrapped in saran wrap, and never put them in for more than a minute, minute and a half. Bobby says, well, doctors have to learn somehow. That's going. AP saying, I know I need to move south, but I can't move to Texas or Florida. Too hot too hot. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, you definitely got to get it in the hotter, drier. Well, like I keep saying, where I live, BC is beautiful. And it's really nice and dry in the Okanagan Valley, where I live. Don't worry, Okanagan Valley is a large, large swath of land with many, many large lakes in it. So that's not going to narrow it down too much for you guys. But BC is beautiful. That's actually our motto, beautiful BC. So feel free to come and visit for a while in the summertime. Jody says I'm giving Darwin way too much credit. Yeah, God is in control. Fair enough. And for me, in my head, I'm kind of, it's all, I know it's God. But I like the idea of Darwin trying to create this Big Bang Theory and evolution. And at the end of the day, like in this day and age, the kids, even the kids who are just now starting to procreate and have kids, the only reason they know Darwin at all is because he's known as the guy who hands out the awards to idiots who don't think things through out in public. So at the end of the day, God has a very good sense of humor, and I think that worked out exactly the way it was meant to work, eh? Oh, it's wild saying so Digger wants the purge because that's how it would play out. Well, not you're not wrong. Heidi's saying Darwin even denounced his theories on his deathbed. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that worked out for him, how serious he was. I think he was probably pretty serious because yeah, that's a whole I'm not even going to dig into that one. But that would be a very good topic for conversation. In Texas, armadillo is seen in its natural habitat, dead on the roadside, says Miles. All right. I'll have to keep an eye out when I finally travel through California. AP says Wolverine here in Minnesota, even though the murder weasel is no longer here in the wild. Interesting. The murder weasel. That's one name for it. Yes, I know, Jody. I know very well. Washington State's state endemic mammal is the Olympic marmot, Marmota olympus, clearly not a bear. I'm pretty sure we definitely have marmots in BC, but I'm pretty sure we have some of the Olympic marmots in BC, I believe. Don't quote me on that. I'm usually talking out my ass, but I believe that they've discovered some of the Olympic ones literally here, which is kind of interesting. I also found out that there's a specific breed of marmot in Saskatchewan that doesn't exist anywhere else in the world. I found that out recently reading interesting headlines. Linda, Soap was one of the best sitcoms ever, maybe the best. Mary Hartman wasn't, yeah, Mary Hartman wasn't far behind. I loved Soap. My dad told me about it, and I searched for a few years before I was able to find the entire series online so I could watch it. And I binge watched Soap until I got through the entire thing. It was hilarious. It was so much fun. Such huge names too in there that yeah, I had no idea the show even existed considering who all was in it. That was a wonderful show. Even when it went all alien crazy. And then they only went alien crazy because the soap operas in real life were going all alien crazy at the time. Heidi says the spirit bear is the same color as a polar bear. Is it interesting? I thought it would be, well, I guess, yeah, I imagined it to be more like white gold, I guess, as opposed to white. Oh, goodness. I know sea bass, but don't you? That was just long enough ago. I don't remember. Sorry. But I see the Santa twerk, so that makes up for everything. Sorry, I can't show you kids, but hey, believe it. Or click on the pinned link. If you're in YouTube, you can always click on the pinned link. That'll take you to my YouTube or my Rumble. I'm streaming there as well. And then you too can twerk with Santa. Just throwing it up. Hello, Demon's Wrath. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, okay. The lady who was trying to pet the bison. Yeah, she did have it coming. Yes. I know that sort of thing happens so much more often than it should. But when you're stupid, you're stupid. Heidi's saying a latchkey kid here too. All right, yeah. Yeah, it was an interesting way to grow up. And thank God us latchkey kids were being raised by 1980s, 1990s TV shows, and not like 2000s or 2010s TV shows. We would have been so messed up. But thankfully, the 80s, 90s TV shows, they instilled morals and they taught us about, important things. You know, nope. I'm thinking of important things, and the first three things that came to mind, I'm not going to say out loud. So they taught us a lot of important things. Linda's saying chicken fingers. Chickens around here have nuggets, not fingers. Yeah, no, I guess Canadian chickens must have fingers. I've never seen them on a live chicken, but yeah, you get all sorts of chicken fingers over here. And they're tasty too. The real chicken fingers are really tasty, not the pre-processed stuff. Oh, Michigan is MI. Michigan is MI. I'm going to try my best to remember that. If I forget, I do apologize, but I will try my darndest. Hello, Mr. Q. How you doing? Good to see you. Oh, yeah. In Texas, they have quite a few sale rabbits as well. Wolverine make honey badgers seem like kittens. Yes, I have heard that. Oh, yes. See, my memory is so bad. I forgot all about that. If you want to watch Soap, it's on Antenna TV on the weekends, 9 p.m. Eastern, 12 a.m. Pacific. If you've got Antenna TV, you guys can watch it. I forgot you told us that. Thank you, Shenny. Wild saying, in Michigan, people will always take you snipe hunting. Just ask. Yeah. God forbid you go go hunting in Lower Mainland, BC. Oh, there's so many woke tards over there. They'd lynch you for daring to take out a dangerous animal. Heidi's telling Shenny I have digital antenna and get that channel. Cool. So yeah, you can watch it as well. I love cheesy 80s stuff. You and me both. Yes. When I'm sick, when I'm like really, really sick, feverish, cold sweats, that sort of thing, the only thing that can make me feel better is tomato soup with grilled cheese and saltine crackers, and then curling up on the couch watching, we used to call them the crappy 80s movies, but all the cheesy 80s crap that, was just so good and so funny. And the 90s stuff before political correctness came in when I was roughly grade 10, or at least that's the year that my English teacher first mentioned it in class, and he was mocking it. Unfortunately, it didn't help because it came in anyway. But yeah, grade 10 was when political correctness really started to take over mainstream. But right up till then, yeah, the TV was much better, much better. Jody is saying, AP, have you seen the honey badger that attacks lions and wins? Check out Stoffel the honey badger. Oh, interesting. I don't know if I want to meet that honey badger, even if just online. Oh, Wild was asking Dom, y'all got sniped down there too? He says, sure we do. It's a real trick to learn how to bag one. Snipe. Isn't that kind of like a weasel or a ferret? I don't know. I might be wrong. Shenny's saying, I just realized y'all say latchkey kids, like you were the first gen to do that. Wait, you had keys. We didn't get the key. We had unlocked doors. See? Latchkey kids. Our parents were gone working all day, so we had to get ourselves up, get ourselves ready, get ourselves to and from school, get our homework done, feed ourselves 3 meals a day or starve. Yeah, that was us. But yeah, you guys couldn't have been latchkey kids because it was still safe to leave everything unlocked. By the time we were rolling into the 90s, you weren't leaving things unlocked, or at least not on the coast where I lived. Oh, there we go. Demon's Wrath. I still call chicken fingers nuggies, even though they're real chicken and not some abominable goy slop. Okay, goy slop is a word I wouldn't have used. But accurate. Yeah, real chicken fingers are actual, it's white meat that are deep fried in strips, and they're delicious, especially if you dip them. Shenny's saying to Heidi, everyone has the free TV ability like the good old days, though somehow people think they have to spend a fortune to watch TV. I love spending zero and getting great TV. Yeah, I love Tubi. Tubi is really great. It helps me too when I'm feverish and I need those crappy 80s movies and TV shows. Tubi gets me there. They've got it all covered. It was awesome. Wild's asking me if I've ever gone snipe hunting. No, I'm still not certain if I am correct in thinking it's a ferret or a weasel sort of a thing. So no, I've definitely not ever hunted any of them. Oh, Lady Autumn Sky and Mr. Q. I was watching Who's the Boss. I loved Who's the Boss. I so wanted to be Alyssa Milano, and I don't know. Well, I do know what the fuck happened to her. Hollywood happened to her. She was a Hollywood child actress, and that's what happened to her. She and Rose McGowan were on Charmed together. Rose McGowan chose not to go a certain way with a certain director. I think his first name was Harvey, not sure. But she said no, and her all of her jobs, she got blacklisted, like we were talking about earlier. Um, she got blacklisted. Oh no, that was Johnny's chat. But either way, Wild was there. So is SH and Mr. Q. Um, yeah, she got blacklisted really, really badly because she tried to speak out against it as opposed to just go with the flow, which is what Alyssa Milano did. Um, but yeah, honestly, I think at the end of the day, I'd rather ended up where Rose McGowan ended up than where Alyssa Milano ended up, because that's just sad. Okay. Um, oh, there it was. Oh, interesting. Recycled Cheese Monday. Good to know. Um, yeah, sorry, this chat went flippy floppy suddenly. Um, there we go. Now I see the big blue box. I once got taken snipe hunting. I was 7 and I really believed until I got left in the cemetery all by myself. Oh, okay. Because I thought there's multiple different types. I'm aware that that's obviously something that's going over my head that Jody's talking about. I know I've seen it. Um, yeah, I realize that's going over my head, but I'm pretty sure there is either, yeah, like a weasel or a ferret type thing that's called a snipe, and there's also a bird called a snipe. Um, so I would have gone looking anyways. Mr. Q says birds are crazy. There's this bird called the Shrek, and that it impales its victims on needles and thorns and barbed wire fences. Ew, that's not very nice at all. I don't, yeah, I sure, I don't know where that is, but I hope I never meet one of those. That doesn't feel, or that doesn't sound like it feels good at all. Um, Wild and Dom are laughing their ass off. So more likely than not, it is a over my head because, like Jody said, she got uh, taken by it too. She ended up in the cemetery all by herself, looking for a snipe that obviously didn't actually exist. Um, oh, Lady Autumn Sky was saying today. She sent her last chat too soon. She was watching it today. Who's the boss? Yeah. I haven't seen that one in a long time. That's yeah. There's so many things I haven't seen in ages. And the Swiss cheese that is my brain makes it that it's like the brand new movies all over again. But I need to do like a Chris Farley kind of binge watch because I remember that he was extremely funny, but I cannot really remember any of the movies, you know. But I know I enjoyed them, so that's one of the things I'll have to do. Um, AP's telling Jody, I've seen a Wolverine fight the White Death or polar bear for a carcass and win. Honey badgers are crazy, but the Wolverine is worse. See, and again, I thought they were fairly close to the same species. I thought they were similar. So yeah, apparently not. Um, and oh yeah, Saffron's working with Santa again. Thank you. Thank you very much. Mr. Q says, I miss Sundays when I was young and mom used to make homemade pizza and I watched Batman, the animated series, and The Simpsons and Married with Children. Oh, the good old days. Yeah, I remember Married with Children. My dad would sit and watch it with us, and we thought my dad was just the funniest thing around because he'd always come and he'd sit down in the middle of the couch with his arms on either side of us because we had to sit on opposite sides or we'd be bugging each other. But he'd sit like this in his white t-shirt and his sweatpants, his burgundy sweatpants, and then he'd suddenly go, oh, and he'd slide down the couch and put his hand in the front of his sweatpants like Al would do and pick up the remote control. And we just, no matter how many times he did it, it was just the funniest thing going. But yeah, the TV was more wholesome back then. Wild. She doesn't know, laugh my ass off. Yeah, I totally haven't got a clue. So um Linda's saying to Shenny, I was going to say we didn't get keys. We just walked in. We were told to lock ourselves in until they got home. We just went out until the time for them to get home. Right. So you're just a little before then. We actually had to have keys. We moved to the big city in 87. We moved from small town to the big city. And yeah, as soon as we got there, my mom was, she was all about the locks, like all sorts of locks and on everything, the windows, the doors, everything. She got really scared. Lady saying, I remember The Simpsons when it was a short on the Tracy Ullman show. Yes, me too. The Itchy and Scratchy show was part of it. Was it not? I knew it had started from a show, but I would never have ever been able to pull up Tracy Ullman's show. But I remember that before it was an actual series in and of itself. AP says, no, snipe is a genus of bird. The old joke is they don't exist, but they do. Woodcock here in Michigan are snipe. Okay. Google snipe hunting, please. I'm laughing so hard. And then she sent it towards to sweeten the deal. Oh, man. Okay. I was really enjoying looking at the spirit bear, but I will do that. Oh. Oh. Type of practical joke or fool's errand in existence in North America as early as the 1840s. Okay. I gotta click to see the rest of it. An unsuspecting newcomer is duped into trying to catch an elusive, non-existent animal called a snipe. Although snipe are actually a family of birds, a snipe hunt is a quest for a creature whose description varies. The target of the prank is led to an outdoor spot and given instructions for catching the snipe, often including waiting in the dark and holding an empty bag or making noises to attract the creature. The others involved in the prank then leave the newcomer alone in the woods to discover the joke. As an American rite of passage, snipe hunting, there's a Freudian slip. Snipe hunting is often associated with summer camps and groups such as the Boy Scouts. In France, a similar joke is called hunting the Dahut. 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 Interesting. Okay, yes, I had never heard that. That went right over my head. That does sound like a fun trick, though. I wish I had known of it. That's totally the sort of thing me and my friends would have done to each other. Mr. Q, chickens don't have fingers? Silly people. I got it, Dom. Like I said at the beginning of the thing, I accidentally discovered something, which maybe total fluke this one time, or maybe just maybe I found a loophole or a workaround. But as long as I have my task manager open, it doesn't seem to do the overheating and like the fans going crazy and the stream just like getting booted from the YouTube stream that I'm watching for absolutely no reason, which happened quite often. Well, apparently, at least today, as long as my task manager is open in the background, it doesn't do it near as much. I haven't seen any stuttering or anything. That's why I'm trying to troubleshoot it, or like trying to run as much stuff as I can during this stream, including the popped out chat from Rumble. So I was able to actually see it happen when T3 gifted a sub to herself, because Rumble took it and then gave it right back to her. She gifted the subscription on Rumble and it gave it right back to her. But I would not have known any of that would happen if I didn't have the chat popped out over here. So far so good. I'm really enjoying this. We will see how it works, how it keeps working. It might just be a fluke today. Mr. Q says, don't nuggets are not dinosaur meat. Nuggets are not dinosaur meat. I'd never heard that they were dinosaur meat. Most of the dinosaur meat is long gone by now. There's not much There's not many dinosaur fossils that are found with any meat left to them. Snipe hunting is a literal 170-year-old joke. There you go. Oh, see, but haha, now I know the joke, Wild, so you can't do it. They were joking that Wild's closest to me, so she's going to have to take me out snipe hunting sometime and talking about live streaming it too. And that would have been funny, haha, but you made me look it up, and I looked it up, so now I won't fall for it. The show Charmed was with Rose. Yes. Yes, Rose McGowan. She was there first, and then wasn't it what's her face, the redhead came in and took over for her, and suddenly she was a long lost sister. It was the plot, the acrobatics that the writers had to go through in order to write out the one character and add in the new third sister was absolutely ridiculous. That's, yeah. I didn't mind the other sister. I enjoyed that character too, but yeah, they really had to work so hard to get her in. Linda says, Digger, we had Ted Bundy, Charlie Manson, and others like them. Not necessarily safe. Fair enough. Yes, I live on the Highway of Tears. It's a very well-known highway. A lot of hookers, a lot of indigenous women, and a lot of troubled souls go missing on the Highway of Tears, and they have been going missing since long before the highway was paved. It's not an uncommon thing. Mr. Q says, yes, there's actually a bird called a snipe. I knew that. Oh, Wild. After we snipe hunt, I'll take you unicorn tracking. You smartass. Yeah, I won't fall for that. Lady says, my TV has Sounds on TV as long as you have Wi-Fi. And they have all kinds of channels. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. Demon's Wrath. Chris Farley is in Wayne's World too. I remember that one at least. Yeah, well, the title that keeps popping into my head is Tommy Boy. And like I said, I remember that they were funny, really funny. So I think it'd be well worth rewatching them again at this point. They're similar, but Wolverine are larger and more ornery than the honey badger. Okay. And Lady Autumn Sky, I have the DVD complete set of Married with Children. It's nostalgic for me. I tell you what, my buddy Ron, the guy who used to live downstairs, he was the oldest, meanest, most racist asshole I ever did meet. But he was also a sweetheart. He was, he was really good to me. And for a while, he and I would, we used to hang out on the regular. And one of the things we did when we weren't watching Pride fights and UFC fights, because he also owned all of those on DVD, all of the Pride fights, all of the UFC, he would be buying the DVDs as they were coming out, as soon as they came out. But we bonded over the fighting, the MMA. But one of the things we loved to do, he had the same thing, the Married with Children, the full complete set. And we would just throw them on and just go, episode after episode. And it was still so funny. Even all these years later, it still stands up as a really good, funny show. Shitty says, oh, hell no. I walked in, cleaned the house, cooked dinner for 4, did the family accounting and bill paying. And at 14, got job, did above, and did real job. Holy crap. Yeah, no, I wasn't that bad. I mean, my brother and I were latchkey kids, so we did all the, the cleaning and cooking and stuff for ourselves. But yeah, I got a job. The first job I ever got where the government actually took money away from me for taxes, I was 12, and I was running a daycare center outside of the local golf and country club. So that was a lot of fun. I got to play with the racquetball in the racquetball courts. I got to use everything free. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I didn't have to do the family accounting and bill paying and all that. Mom and dad did that. Mr. Q says, look up loggerhead shrike bird sometime. Bird is crazy. Ba, ba, ba. I'm liking this. I'm so far, I'm still only gutsy enough to look up stuff that are not video or audio, but so far so good. This is working. Passerine bird in the family Lanidae. Ah, look at that. Well, isn't that fancy? Endemic to North America and related to the northern shrike. It is nicknamed the butcher bird after its carnivorous tendencies as it consumes prey such as insects, amphibians, lizards, small mammals, and small birds. And some prey end up displayed and stored at a site. I don't need to click on that and take the ... part. Oh, it looks so cute and innocent though. It's so pretty. Here, let me oh, widen. Quick. No, not that. Oh shit. I made the screen size too small. And then damn it. Full size. Small size. Ah. Present. Oh, okay. There we go. Present share. There you go. Isn't it so sweet? It's so cute and innocent looking. But if you look close, the that's an awful large and sharp overhang at the end of the beard, or at the end of the beak. The beard. I could see how that might be dangerous if it's carnivorous, yes. But it just looks so sweet and innocent. Jody says, I met Tracy Ullman. She was really nice. She said she liked my accent because I didn't have one. She was in Washington filming I Love You to Death. Oh, that was a good movie. I remember that one. Well, I don't really remember it itself, but I remember the title. Yeah, she did actually oh goodness, and here goes my memory again. She was in a movie with Biff Naked that was basically about Biff Naked traveling cross country, like road tripping across country, our country, Canada, and into Washington. And I'm pretty sure Tracy Ullman was in that one. I don't think it was I Love You to Death, but just as an interesting trivial fact. She was in a movie with Biff Naked, and it was a really good movie, although it was really not well known. Oh, and John is back. Good. JD, why do I keep saying JD? Jody, my brothers and their friends took me snipe hunting, and I got them back. Ooh, I'd like to know what you did to get them back. The more you know. Do. And you're all laughing at me. Shenny's saying they shape them like dinos. Oh, okay. Well, that's just, yeah, that's the processed things. I like our chicken fingers, which is actual chicken breast, like white chicken meat. Lovely. Linda saying to Shenny, luckily my folks thought we were stupid. We weren't allowed to use the stove until our teen years. We did our chores before going to school. Got my first job at 15, working in a convalescent hospital. Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah, see, by the time we came around, we were living in suburbia, so the chores around the house really weren't a thing like they were for my mom. But in exchange, we were allowed to cook on the stove because it wasn't wood fire and it wasn't Like some of those, the older the older stoves. I just recently got a new stove and it was brilliant because my oven didn't work for years. But it was really awesome and it was really old, but it was kind of dangerous. You couldn't necessarily know that the element was on. Um, like what are they? The knobs, the turning knobs, don't necessarily sit at the right position, and suddenly, if you're not paying attention, they get turned on, and you don't think they're on until you lean on it or you put, like I don't know, just pulling it out of thin air, like the recipe book my mom decided to put down one day that to this day still has the element burn ring in it. The front cover is gone, but the element of the burn did stick to the pages inside. It's quite funny. Digger, people say chicken birds are the modern ancestors of dinosaurs. Well, some of them would be, I would guess. Oh, Linda, I had to do chores morning, after school, and after work. It was a thing. You guys, you are the same group of folks that we had such a hard knock life. You had to hike uphill in the snow both ways every day. Yeah, my mom has told me those stories. She grew up in an area of BC known as the Caribou, and it's a rugged area. It really is. And she was most definitely one of those folks that had chores to do on the ranch all the time. She dropped out of school in grade 10, I think she said. I think she said it was 10. It's been a long time since I asked. But yeah, she dropped out of school because there was things that needed doing, like getting a job at the diner in town so that she could bring in some more money for the family. Tracy Ullman did have a pretty voice. So did Biff Naked, actually. Just, I don't know why every time I see Tracy Ullman, I'm thinking Biff Naked right now, but that my brain is just keeps snapping at that one. John says that's funny because we have snipe here, and I'll prove it in Discord. I know, right? It actually is a bird that does exist, but apparently since the 1700s, Americans have been making fun of each other, sending them out to hunt a non-existent animal that they call snipe hunting. Lady says I was late to watching Charms. I just watched a few years ago. I was late to it too. I only started watching it soon, just before they finished airing the full series, before the full series ended. And then I also met, or you know what? No, it would have been completely over because it was my ex-husband that introduced me to some of those shows, like Charmed and Buffy and Angel. There was another one, all of that era, that ilk. I was actually working, trying to break into TV and film during the time that was airing. So I never got to watch them, but I watched them later. My ex-husband introduced me to them. And yeah, we binge watched the heck out of that. I love Buffy. I really love Buffy now. Was Rose the replacement? No, Shannon Doherty wasn't the one written off. Rose McGowan was written off, and the redhead, I want to say Scarlett Johansson, but for some reason I feel like that's wrong. Charmed TV series, IMDb, because that's always fully accurate. Could just show me cast. Do I have to full size it just to? All right, there we go. Stars. Let's see. Rose was Paige. What was the other sister? Because they had to bend over themselves backwards to try and fit in a new actress as a third sister with the P, with a name that starts with P, because they killed off one of them. I'm not seeing it now, though. Oh my God, you know what? You're right too. Why am I thinking, see, this is my brain. This is how my brain works. You're right too. It was Shannon Doherty that was written off. It was too. And Rose came in to replace her. That's right, because she was a bitch. She was the biggest bitch in the whole wide world. She's a mean old bitch. She's a bitch. She's a bitch. She's a bitch. Yeah. Now, where did I put us? There we are there. And where did I put that? I want that. There we go. And now I'm playing with all the windows and I've lost the Rumble chat bubble. But one thing that is still working and not overtaxing itself is my PC and the fan. So, woohoo! You're right too, Eileen. I bow to your better knowledge. With my Swiss cheese brain, I should have just taken your word for it. For some reason, I could have sworn. I don't know where. I don't know what show I'm thinking of now that that switched in what's her face that I just named, and now that I just named her, I can't remember her name anymore. But either which way, I don't know what I was thinking. But you're right. It was Shannon Doherty that was the one written off. Hitchhiking is a dangerous game, says John. I see. I'm just going to dance right past that now because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm talking out my ass. And hi, by the way, Eileen. Hello, you're still here. That's good. Mr. Q. Oops. I am down to go Bigfoot hunting, but I'm bringing my 4570 Winchester. Okay. I have heard what is allegedly the Bigfoot knocking. I have heard it many times in my camping life here in BC, but to me, it just sounds like the trees, the really, really tall trees, they crack like that when they really start bending in the wind. It sounds like that. The same as the what they like to call the knocking. So I wouldn't expect to find a Bigfoot, but I'm more than willing to go on the hunt with you because that's always fun. Should probably put my magnifiers on. Typos all over the place. No worries. With my dyslexia, I tend to understand things better if it's, misspelled. Linda says, Shenny, I feel for you. We did most of our cleaning was on the weekend mornings. Once we got it all done, we took off until dinner. And Demon's Wrath is saying, how racist is the most racist asshole exactly? By 80 standards too, no less. Yeah, he was actually truly related to the Hart family of the WWF fame. He was short, he was stout, he was a logger, and then he started collecting scrap metal for a living, and he did one of those things all his life. So he was just one barrel of pure muscle. And he really was the biggest racist asshole I've ever met in my life. He really was. And he would have been a kid in the 60s. He would have been, a kid in the 60s, a teen in the 70s. So yeah, that kind of racist asshole. He was pretty bad, but he was a nice guy too. He was a nice guy too. He used to call me, he'd call me Digger bitch. But he didn't know my name was Digger. But that was, if you think of what rhymes with Digger, he'd call me that bitch all the time. He actually, the N word with the hard R was one of his favorite words to use. And he was an old white guy. Oh, there's Don being a smartass. He's saying a Demon's Wrath. I don't know. I hate all races. Daytona, Indy, NASCAR, all of them. Oh, there you go, Heidi. Yeah, you're back with us after lurking on a walk. -5 degree walk with the border collie. Ooh, fun. Good times. That's actually colder than it is here. It's ridiculous. It's supposed to be, we average um about -14 is the average temperature in the middle, like in the deep of winter for us. And we've not hit double digits. I think the coldest it's gotten was -8, and that's just overnight a couple of nights. It's really been warm here. Wild. The closest thing to a dinosaur fish we have in Michigan is a sturgeon. We have sturgeon here in BC too. Those things are wild looking. Yeah, I would not want them. I don't like swimming in the ocean because I've seen the things that live in the ocean. Um, Anytime I went, to the beach on the coast, I would go about this high, this deep into the ocean, but that was it, and that was a rare occasion. Um, I don't like the idea of what swimming in that ocean with me, which is odd because where I live here, um, we have in one of the major, it's Okanagan Lake. It's in the middle of the Okanagan Valley. Imagine that. But Okanagan Lake has, we call him the Ogopogo, and he is a male equivalent of, oh shoot, not Lassie, but the one in the Loch Ness. Yeah. So Ogopogo is a male version of the Loch Ness monster, only he lives here in BC. Um, I have zero problem whatsoever swimming out as deep as I can get into the Okanagan Lake. No fears whatsoever, but I cannot swim in the ocean. I can't do it. That's how they get you, says Mr. Q, and impale you like bald. Yeah, they're pretty ugly looking fish. um, don't even need to hate to be racist these days. Just need to notice things like patterns of behavior or names. Navy says they're tiny raptors. You're talking about the bird. Yeah, they are. They're beautiful. It was really cute, really sweet looking. It looked a lot like the little chirpy sparrows that we have here. But yeah, once I looked more closer, that peak at the end of the beak was pretty vicious looking. Oh, it's cute. That turns you into a shish kebab? Yeah, apparently. Looks kind of like a camp robber bird. I don't know. I've never heard of a camp robber. Um, so I'm saying it looks cute and innocent, just like most women. Very deadly. The bird takes no prisoners, says Jody. And Wilds, Don mentioned gar, and Wild says we have gar too. I forgot about them. Nasty teeth. I don't know what gar are. We've got catfish, and they're pretty ugly. Shenny saying I did cleaning on the weekend. Also, my mother just had a slave child, and she used it up to the day I left. Fair enough. That's what my mom did with us too, but she was nowhere near as mean as yours. Not as you. She wasn't as mean as your mom. um, and Heidi was thinking of camp rubber too. Jody says it was a lifelong grudge. Oh, pet. I do not want to. Yeah, I would not want to have to face a bird like that. Shinny saying our old oven didn't have a working thermometer. So you could tell the temp by sight, which made you the cook. I gotcha. Yeah, I know. According to my mom, I always had to make the ground beef because I'm the only one that could break it up into small pieces instead of having chunks of ground beef. I'm calling complete and total BS on that She just couldn't be bothered to cook it. Um, but there you go. At the end of the day, it's not near the hardship as some of you guys were going through. So John is saying crows and ravens are my arch nemesis. Yeah, we don't like we've got them around here, but they tend to stick closer to the dump. I don't see a whole lot. We've got a lot of magpies where I am. So I think the magpies are what keep the crows and ravens out of the way because they don't need to be here. The dump is just outside of town and there's easy eating for them there. They don't need to come here and fight with the magpie. The magpie are bitches, though. I wish I could have a pellet gun just to take out the magpies. Even if it didn't actually take them out, if I could just blink and stun them every now and again. They're mean. Mr. Q says, did you hear they actually found a fossilized creature with feathers on it that was considered a dinosaur recently? Oh, interesting. No, I didn't. I do remember hearing that at some point in the recent past, they were able to find a dinosaur with a tooth that still had some DNA in it. But that was a while ago now. I'd say in the last 10, 15 years. Now Mr. Q's getting into the fight too. I had to carry both my older sisters over my shoulder 10 miles one way against the wind and 3 foot of snow barefoot. Fuck yeah. Farm kids are hardcore where I live. Yeah, my mom was a farm kid. Sounds like Shenny and Linda were familiar with that kind of a growing up too. Not a full-on farm kid, at least not a city kid. Thinking about people, I can think only about bare naked ladies. Ba-dum-dum-ching. AP. I have a plan to scare the hell out of my black friends. Only white guy outdoorsman, not afraid of nature, when we rent a cabin for a week near Halloween. But my med issues put that on hold, sadly. Well, so what's the plan? I want to hear the plan. Just the fact that you're a white dude showing up at the cabin, ready and able to survive. Oh, man, I am. Oh, I'm not that far back. Okay, good. Shenny's saying, oh, I love Charmed, Buffy, and Angel. I know, me too. I really did. It's sad that I had to learn about them from my ex-husband, but what can you do? Linda says, Digger, I did go uphill in the snow to and from school in Missouri. We lived at the top of one hill and the school was at the top of the next hill. Oh. Well, shit. So it really was the truth for you, eh? Yeah, Shenny remembers Rose being the replacement also. No, it was my memory. When something is in question, I will always lean towards mine being the wrong one. Demon's Wrath says Buffy was okay, but Angel was where it was at. Better story arc. Yeah, well, and as a female, I've had a crush on that man. I always want to say David Borealis, but it's not Borealis. It's Borealis or something like that. But he played in Bones as well. He was in Bones. I had such a crush on him. Him and Nathan Fillion. Those were my teenage heartthrobs. Those were the guys. And Seth Green. I thought Seth Green was cute AF. Thank God I never got to meet him, though, because apparently he's one of them. So. Oh, AP. Have a werewolf mask with red eye shine. Just waiting to freak him out. That would work. I would definitely enjoy watching that as a fly on the wall. Yeah, they brought her into they brought Kaylee in, but she wasn't a family member. I remember her being on the show, but I don't remember anything about her character. Jody says, I never watched Charmed, Buffy, or other witchcraft inspired stuff. It just felt wrong. Well, yeah, you were born and raised in church, right? So it's it's a whole different perspective um, coming up that way than say my little brother and I. We watched whatever was on TV, and we enjoyed a lot of the not necessarily witchcraft, but the fantasy and the sci-fi monsters and stuff. Uh, the first three Star Wars movies were brilliant. So with the aliens and stuff like that. Um, by the time I was watching Charmed, Buffy, and Angel, like I said, my ex-husband had introduced me to that. So that would have been 2009, 2012, somewhere in there. So I was watching it because the boys were hot. The stories were still very good, but I wasn't watching it for the storyline. I just really enjoyed seeing David on the regular. Might well have been Twilight as far as I care. Shimmering vampires. Yeah, I never got into the Twilight at all. I loved Supernaturals though. I absolutely adored Supernaturals. I missed the last few seasons, like the last 2 or 3 seasons, but yeah, I had a buddy, James. He was key makeup on Supernaturals for a long time. We just couldn't get our schedules together, so I was never able to go and be his assistant. But yeah, that was a wonderful show, and that definitely, yeah, that had monsters and magic and all sorts. Holly, Shannon, and Alyssa. Yeah, Rose did come in later. Yep. Eileen is never wrong, says John. Okay. Yeah, and like I said, I don't know why I tried to trust my brain over anyone else's. True Blood. True Blood was one of those as close to soft porn as you could get. Well, it was basically soft porn, as close as you could get on prime time. Um, yeah, I enjoyed some of the storyline on True Blood. Um, when I did follow it, some of the storylines were really interesting, and I loved when they brought the werewolves in. The guy who played the leader of the werewolf pack. Um, I really enjoyed him. He was in a show called Grimm as well. Grimm was a really good show. Very much magic stuff, but it was really interesting as well. That sound echoes like crazy. Oh, the knocking. Yes, I know it does. But yeah, it's never sounded like a giant thing knocking on the trees. It just sounds like the trees cracking in the wind. Yeah, see, it's always windy where I live. We're high up, we're mountainous regions. It's always windy. Demon's Wrath said never saw True Blood. Heard people say they like it. Doesn't mean it's great, but it might not be awful. Yeah, I enjoyed it. Like I said, some of the storylines were really entertaining. Um, it was yeah, it was kind of like Buffy or Angel, but with lots and lots of like sexy, sexy stuff. Like Buffy and to a certain extent Angel, they were definitely geared towards teens, right? Preteens and teens. True Blood was most definitely an adult show. It did really good though. Um, oh shit, Bret Hart's cousin. Yeah, yeah. He was one of the Harts. They were his cousins. So he was born and raised here in BC, but they used to get together at the Hart compound in Alberta. That was how they spent their summers as kids. Hello, Lab Glass. How you doing? Good to see you. Snurkety snort, says Heidi to Lady. AP says short, so not racist, just upset he was crotch height to the heart. But no. He was yeah, he would have been shorter than them, but not by much. Like he was still taller than me. I'm 5'4", 5'5" when my back is feeling really good. But he was definitely taller than me. Um but he felt like one of those, like a short, stocky, like it's just one big solid chunk of rock hard human person, right? Like, yeah, I don't know. That's how I imagined him in my head. But you're right, he was taller than me, so I guess he's not short. Um, yeah, I guess he wasn't short. He just, to me, I imagined like a cartoon character. The not even the triangle, but an actual rectangle shape. It's just nothing but muscles like Popeye arms stuck to the sides. I love N word with a hard R too. Yeah, I don't use it, but it really was his favorite word. And he was a crotchety old white guy, so he really shouldn't have been able to get away with it, but he did. Oh, Dom is saying True Blood, like most shows, was good for about the first season, then went downhill. Sort of revived in around season 5, then downhill again. Yeah, I kind of came back around there. But then I ended up having to work again and stopped watching again. I know I've never seen that series finish. No idea. Shenny has a 6 p.m. our time. So as of 15 minutes ago, 16 minutes ago, the California fire update based on flights. They're working hard to keep the fire from entering into Beverly Hills and Santa Monica. So far, one failure as a 10-acre fire has breached the line. Well, shit. Them Richie Riches are just going to have, it's all going to be gone. I'm trying to place. Heidi's got to go. See y'all on the flip side. See you later, Heidi. It was good to see you. AP says before they removed the paddock models. F1 and MotoGP you're talking about. Okay. Yes. Before they removed the paddock models. I don't know. The only racing that I ever really watched, other than at the Mission Speedway, was the Indy. Used to come through. I don't know if they still do, but they used to come through and turn downtown Vancouver into the track. And I got to work there a few years. It was a lot of fun. Loud as fuck, but a lot of fun. Jody, it's 29 degrees where you are right now. I'm doing the math. 29. There. 29 CC. -1 point. Okay. Minus roughly 2. Interesting. Yeah, and for us right now, it's 1 degree. So you've got it colder where you are than I do, which is strange because we should definitely be a lot colder. Yeah, Demon's Wrath, if you've got a whole bunch of other shows to watch, yeah, True Blood would be at the end of the list. Like, it was okay for what it was, but there were a shit ton of better shows out. AP says, yeah, but the scary animal in the lakes and rivers of Canada are otters. Yes, otters. We have fresh and saltwater seals as well. We have beaver. We've got all sorts of fun stuff. Hello, Sam V. So hot. Arya, you could probably take a layer off then. That usually works for me. Demon saying, I watched season 1 and 2 of The Witcher, and I knew full well that the show would be 50% wank. But Henry Cavill gave it gravity. He was the reason that show was even worth considering. Yeah, I never bothered. By that time, I haven't had TV in eons. If it's not showing up somewhere for free, I won't watch it. Do you follow the Steel Toe drama? Asks Sam V. Not really. They're usually ending just as I'm waking up, so I never really see it. I only knew Steel Toe existed because of the Nick bullshit, because I'm a member of the LawTube chat. I'm a LawTuber. It was LawTubers that told me to stream in the first place, and it's LawTubers at fault for my doing it now. So the only reason I know Steel Toe ever existed was strictly because of the Nick fiasco. So, but Bobby Baloney introduced me to Johnny's streams because he had to show me Al the cat. I didn't believe that there was a streamer out there whose cat could be heard having sex with a stuffy regularly during streams. I didn't believe it was true. I thought for sure he's just, pulling my leg. It's Bobby. He does that. But it was true. Al exists, and Johnny is pretty funny too. So, end of the day, I think I lucked out there. But yeah, again, I don't know Steel Toe. I know Johnny. So, good night, Mr. Q. It's bedtime. Got to go check the coyote traps at 4 a.m. Thank you for the show. Well, thank you for being here, Mr. Q. You have fun on that 4 a.m. walk. Dom is saying, I watch difficult auto repair videos for entertainment. I used to watch all sorts of repair videos for all sorts of stuff. But once they took the like-dislike away, I ended up watching a lot of people do really awful jobs. So I stopped. But I used to really enjoy learning from YouTube. I wish I could send you the link, but there was currently a dinosaur found in China with feathers on it. Okay, well, that's cool. Chinese dinosaur feathers. That should be enough. I can find it. So thank you, Mr. Q. I'll let you know tomorrow in Johnny's chat. Feathers, China. There we go. Yet another tab open for use later. Woohoo. And the fans kicked in, but they didn't do a whole heck of a lot. I don't know if my camera stuttered because I wasn't looking, but woohoo. So far, so good. Borneas, thank you. Borneas, David Borneas, thank you. And then Johnny is mocking me for Seth Green. Yeah, damn it. Seth Green in Charmed was cute AF. And then when he came out and did the robot chicken, and I saw my favorite robot chicken sketch when the robot is getting it on with the washing machine. That was it. I was sold. I thought he was just, the best thing since sliced bread. But I'm a ginger, so we gingers got to stick together, right? Linda says we were stationed at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. Okay, so you were a military brat. It wasn't so much farm work that you were doing. Oh yes, lady saying I used to watch Nathan Fillion when he was on the soap One Life to Live. Yeah, I remember him because my nana, or not my nana, my grandma loved soap operas. So I remembered that he was on it, but he didn't really. The first time I saw him and fell in love was Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Place. And that show to this day is so entertaining. I can still rewatch it. And it's loads of fun. And it was Nathan Fillion and Ryan Reynolds. And I cannot for the life of me remember the name of the female the actress in that show. But it was so much fun. It was a load of fun. So yeah, Nathan Fillion, that's when I fell in love with him, was Two Guys, a Girl, and a Pizza Shop. Ryan Reynolds, as an aside, he grew up in Vancouver, just outside of Vancouver, same as me. He was just a few years ahead of me in the film industry in Vancouver. I never got a chance to work with him. He was just that much ahead, and he was blowing up at that time. So yeah, I wouldn't have caught him anyways. But I knew who Ryan was, but to me, Nathan was new to me for that show. I wasn't watching none of that weirdness. Which weirdness? We're talking about a lot of weirdness now. Demon's Wrath Bones was garbage. I can tell because my mother liked it. Also because the titular character looked like she was exposed to all kinds of drugs in utero. That bitch was frightful to look upon. You take that back. I am not commenting on her looks. I always thought she was pretty, but her younger sister was prettier. Her younger sister that married the cuter of the two property brothers. But I loved Bones. Bones had a really great, it had great long time story. It also had wonderful, every episode had its own inside story. But they kept bringing back, they had three or four different long-term storylines that were amazing. And you got to know all of the characters. It got to the point where sure it was Bones and her and Booth were the stars, but you got to know and care about all the other side characters as well. Um, I'm having a mind blank at the moment, but the dude with the curly hair, the scientist that loved the bugs, and he ended up marrying the hot artist chick. Um, I had a huge crush on him. I thought he was hot AF too. So yeah, I've I do occasionally I decide that someone is just oddball enough looking to be perfect for me. Normally I like really tall, lean, or else, the bear kind of a guy. That's what I date. But every once in a blue moon, I'll find an odd looking gentleman that just does it for me. And Seth Green was one of them. Wild watched for the beef cave. Shameless digger. Hey, it's the truth, man. The more often I could look at those men on a daily, you know, that was lovely. That was fine for me. Third time's the charm. See y'all on the flip side. Later, Heidi. Be well. Reboot is still the best show over. Reboot was a good show. I genuinely enjoyed what I was able to catch of it. It usually came on after school, which was when I'd be going to work. So when I saw it, it was usually on a replay. So I didn't get to watch the whole like the series in a row like you should. But I really enjoyed um, the idea behind it. I got a kick out of that. Did you think David Boreanaz wouldn't go for this distinctly mid chick? That's that kind of. I know, right? I loved that thing because she was distinctly mid chick, and I'm a distinctly mid chick. So it worked for me. I had a chance, man. I had a chance. Lady saying I didn't watch Supernatural till it was over, but I love it. I love it too. It's really great. I always loved the different fantasy and magical beings, all the sci-fi, aliens and other. Yeah, I loved all of that. Make believe was great. It's part of why I became a special effects makeup artist. I wanted to make the monsters and the aliens and all the different things. That's what I did. That's what I was most interested in doing. The movie that I enjoyed most working on out of all the movies I worked on, the one I enjoyed the most was called Night of the Fabulously Dead, where it was like a super B movie, zombie movie. So uber cheesy, lots of blood splurting for feet, for minutes. But it was a zombie movie. And when you got bit by the zombie, you got turned into a gay zombie, like a flaming gay zombie. And it was hilarious. I had a blast with that one. Wild saying, I never watched any of these shows, but I've heard of Charmed because of Alyssa Milano. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it at the time. I don't know if I'd still enjoy it now, but I sure did at the time. And Lady says, yes, Grimm was a good series. I also didn't watch that till it was over. See, and I never watched the end of that. I lost Netflix, so I lost the ability to watch it. I have no idea how they finished the series, but I really enjoyed it. John is saying like Bob Newhart. What's like Bob Newhart? Sorry. That's so short a time ago, and I still don't know what you're talking about. I'm sorry, hon. Demon's Wrath is asking Wild, isn't she that insufferable, mentally challenged former child actor who constantly tries to virtue signal on Twitter and whatnot? Yes, that's Alyssa Milano. Yes, I looked up to her all my childhood. I thought she was the luckiest person in the world. I wished I could have been her. We're very close in age. But yeah, Hollywood got her. That's all I can say. Linda saying, as a kid, I was into Dark Shadows. I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I sneak when mom was watching. And I liked Crowley and Supernatural. Yes. Um, yeah. I can't remember the names of the characters now. Let's see. Oh no, I'm not gonna dick around with that. I will have to go look back. I loved the fallen angel that always wore the raincoat. He was probably my favorite character in Supernatural, but I really liked the uncle too, the guy with the curly hair. It was really sad when he died. Um, that character was really really awesome. Lady saying, I went to the theater to see the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but not this. See, the movie, I loved the movie. I saw that when it came out. I thought that movie was brilliant. But then I also had a huge, huge crush on Dylan, too, whose real name is escaping me at the moment. But he played Dylan in 90210, and he was a babe. So yeah, I saw the original. I saw the Buffy movie, and it was a lot of fun. That came out around the same time as the Lost Boys, right? The Lost Boys that were all the vampires. I think so. How about the Red and Green Show? Yes, I loved the Red and Green Show, but funnier than the Red and Green Show is this show that was on way back in the day called SCTV. It was like 70s, 80s, maybe 60s, 70s. Hilarious. All the big Canadian names, Rick Moranis, John Candy, Dan, ooh, Dan, whatever. A whole lot of people were on SCTV. Freaking hilarious show. Linda saying, I love Benny Hill. Dad liked the Red Green Show and the Man Show. I loved the Man Show. Holy Hannah, I loved the Man Show. And my boyfriend at the time thought I was the coolest chick ever because I enjoyed the Man Show. I wasn't watching it for the girls on trampoline, though. I was loving it for the beer and the ziggy socky, you know? Jody, you taking off too, eh? It's great visiting with you all, and I'll see you on Sabbath. Okay, I'll see you on Sabbath too, Jody. It was really good to see you. Wild says, I knew of Milano from Who's the Boss. She was a little girl in that series. Yeah, yeah. Once again, all child actors get screwed up and go nuck and futz. Very true. Very true. It's a rare child actor that makes it through Hollywood without being totally fudged over. Demon agrees with us as well. Hollywood screws them up. I'd pity her, but she's clearly her own worst enemy. That's can't pity a pathology. Yeah, yeah. And Wild saying everyone loves Alucard. I know, right? I swear I didn't believe Bobby when he told me about Al humping a plushie on like so that you could hear it. I didn't believe, so I went and listened. And by George, he was right. Lab Glass says, I love my dog, but that asshole loves the cold and snow. Well, then he'd normally love it up here. Shenny watched Grimm too. Yeah, I loved Grimm. It was really good. Gingerhood. Fucking amen. Island, the girl was Taylor Howard. Okay. Yeah, that it's not even see, I can see her face, but the name still isn't twigging for me. But I know you're talking about the girl from Two Guys, a Girl in a Pizza Shop. I know what you're talking about this time. I just yeah, the name doesn't even feel vaguely familiar, but I can see her right now. Shenny's got to go. I'm out. Have fun, everyone. I'm done with my work for the day. Demon says Bones is just as garbage as NCIS. I never watched NCIS. My mom and stepdad loved it, but I never really watched it, so I wouldn't have any opinion. I loved Bones, so I really did. Bones has the book series for source material. Yes, and I was actually that's part of why I watched Bones is because I'd already been reading the books for years. I knew the character. I had, the basic idea of the story already built in. The woman who writes the books is actually Canadian, and she writes really good murder mysteries. So yeah, when they made the show, I thought for sure I've got to watch it. And then I saw that David Boreanaz was on it, and that's it for me. I was hooked. John is saying the whole dinosaurs with feathers has been well known for decades amongst paleontologists. They are just now trying to change public perspectives. Well, yes, I mean, they didn't teach it that way, but oh shoot, yeah. See, it's been so long since I had to think of dinosaur names. The big one, the bird, the beak. I think it starts with a P. Either which way, I always assumed it had feathers. I just thought it was drawn the way it was because of Saturday morning cartoon sort of style. Zoe Deschanel, that's the one. Yeah, she's the younger sister of the lady who was in Bones. She married the cute one of the two Property Brothers. I mean, they're both cute, but she married the cuter of the two. Jamie Time says AP. Thank you, Jamie Time. Is that the name of that? That's not the name of the author. Boo boo boo. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that's the name of the I don't know. Either which way. I'm gonna get through these last ones fairly quick. Hello, Cool Frog. How you doing? Nice to see you. I'm peeking under, trying to look higher into the popped out chat, but there's a tab over top of it, and rather than clicking on the box, I'm literally doing this. That tells me that it's just about time to go. I'm doing silly stuff now, and it's getting caught on camera. There we go. Thank you, Lab Glass. Bones is excellent. Hodgson's got his ass kicked in that show, buried alive, billions of dollars stolen, then paralyzed. Yes. Yes. You'll take Emily over Zoe. Okay. I always thought Zoe was the prettier of the two. But yeah, Hodgins, I loved him. I thought that character was awesome. And they put him so through the ringer. I'll also, since we're talking about Bones, my baby, the youngest girl, her name is Sweets. I named her after Sweets, the psychologist from Bones. She is just that same sweet personality. So that's why her name is Sweets with an S pluralized, is because of the guy from Bones. Johnny K says reboot is the reason I hear prepare for incoming game every time I start my Xbox. Good to know. I never had an Xbox, so I wouldn't know. Real talk, Supernatural true ending is season 5. Okay. I'll take your word for that. I know that purists like to say that the ending of the series wasn't the best ending. So I don't know. Thank you, Luke Perry. That's the name, Luke Perry. I had a super huge crush on him. So of course I was watching the original Buffy movie. I couldn't yes, Castiel and Bobby. That's right. Thank you. I saw AP Castiel. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm so bad with names, but yeah, he was my ultimate favorite character from Supernatural. Dom says I saw Bones more as a comedy. Well, it was funny, but it wasn't. I don't know. It was definitely a whodunit for me. I love the scientific mystery behind everything, but then that's why I liked reading the books too. Lady, thank you coming in with the Dan Aykroyd. Thank you so much. Casket out my ass. I remember that. Wild SCTV, Second City TV was pre SNL. Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think that SNL probably took a lot of cues from SCTV. It was so much fun. And it was the silly Canadian humor too, like the brothers Bob and Doug McKenzie. SCTV had very little to do with the Red Green Show. Correct. It had very little to do with the Red Green Show. I was just saying that, in my opinion, SCTV was funnier. The Red Green Show was funny, but SCTV was funnier. Hello, Cool Frog. We got there. Hello, how you doing? Good to see you. SCTV started about 1976 and ended in 1984. Yes. Pterodactyl. Thank you. Thank you, AP. Thank you. Yeah, I always assumed that they had feathers. They just were dumbing down the drawings. There's some more Santa twerking. Dom saying I could fix Zoe. I don't know. I think she chose the cuter of the two Property brothers, but yeah, I think she chose the wilder of the two as well. I think they'll have a lot of fun fixing each other. I think they're both just weird enough, just off enough. That's who plays Hodges, the curly-haired bug guy on Bones. Yes. Oh, scrolling the wrong way. Oh, that was a while ago. Where is it? Jamie Time. Thank you. Yes. There's more Santa twerking. Hodgins was in The Grinch. Was he? Okay. I don't think I noticed that. That's right. TJ Time, where I got Jamie from, I couldn't say. There you go. And John was, the SCTV was too Canadian for you. How can you be too Canadian? It's just funnier. It's not too Canadian. It's funnier. It's just, Norm Macdonald, I say no more. I don't have to. We just won, hands down, mic drop. Norm Macdonald. But on that note, we've been going for 2 hours, 41 and a half minutes. I love and appreciate all of you. It's been grand sitting here talking with you. Talking with chat has worked out really well. Like I said, Mondays will be open mic for any of my friends who happen to be able to accept the invite. Wednesdays, this is going to be me talking to you guys. So if you aren't here giving me stuff to talk about, it's going to be a really boring stream on Wednesdays. So please do come on back, follow or subscribe or do all of the little things you do. Thank you for being here. And as soon as I can figure out, oops, don't wait a minute, because see, I'm doing body things. I'm taking the comment off the screen before I hit the end song. And then I'm going to hit the end song. And I will see you guys tomorrow morning. I have to do the reading. The reading of the book has to happen on Thursday mornings because of schedule. But tomorrow morning, I will be beginning the book that Vices told me to read, The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat. So I will see you at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow morning. And until then, see you guys.
She's a curious conduct, always digging for the truth. Searching in the night, youthful heart and proof. With her shovel in her hand, she roams the universe, exploring every land, no map, no reverse. Oh, dig a 420, curious conduct. Answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Waves of stars through the cosmic sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask and a fire that won't die, unraveling each task under the sky. Oh, dig a 420, curious conduct. Answers on your mind, never getting stuck. Sea, finding who we are in the galaxy. She's got questions to ask.